Hi all, Tricky's Carp Life back with another one. This one has come from numerous requests. It's for an inline lead drop-off system. These are becoming increasingly popular with people taking into consideration carp welfare, well, fish welfare in all, not just carp specifically. And there's quite a few companies doing specific leads for them that aid in the drop-off system. And there's quite a lot of videos out there, but a lot of the videos that I've seen are very short videos. As you know from my channel, I do like to do an extensive video going into the whys and what we use and why we use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all that. So equipment you're going to need for this one. So you're going to need your main line. You're going to need an inline lead. This is a 4-ounce lead from Tracker. As you can see, it's got a groove that runs down the front and a groove that runs down the back. That's where we're going to put the leader to make the drop-off system work. You're going to need, I like to use for this a ready-made or ready-tied leader. You can tie them yourselves, like if you know how to splice. It's not something I've bothered to do. It's finding it easy to buy them. So this is a braided leader, and this is a one with just normal standard ring swivel because we don't want a quick change swivel for this. You're going to need your baiting needle with a gate latch. That's quite important for pushing the material through if we need to. And we're going to need a rig. So this is just a normal rig that I've tied 4.5 inches long, that I'll use for a solid bag. It's a soft braid, and that bead that you can see there is a tungsten bead that I use to put my tungsten putty around. So what we'll do is we'll get started. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to put nearly forgot, I'd already put it on, preempted it. You're going to need a tail rubber. So the tail rubber, obviously the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the tail rubber onto your main line, and we're going to put that on fin end first onto the main line. Push that out the way because we're not going to need to use that specifically now. And what we're going to do, in the end of your braided leader, if you've bought one, there'll be a spliced loop at the one end. So then what we're going to do is we're going to pass our main line from our rod, pass it through the loop in the leader, double back on yourself about 3 or 4 inches as we did yesterday with the blood knot, and we're going to pass the tag end around the main line and spin it round approximately 8 to 10 passes around the main line with the tag to create a nice twisted section of line that's going to form our knot. So as you can see there, all that's nice and twisted, and then right at the top, what we've just created ourselves when we put it together is we've created this new loop in the main line. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass our tag end, and we're going to pass that through that newly created loop, and hold on to the tag end then with your right hand. Hold the braid with your right hand as well. A little bit fiddly, but hold your line there, your tag end, hold your braid there out the way. Here's your main line held in with your other hand. Moisten the knot. Always moisten your knots, critical. You don't want to burn the nylon like in your mono. And then just push your knot down, bed it in nicely, grab hold of that tag end, give that a good pull, and we should have a nice bedded knot like so. And then, just as we did on the last video, we're going to cut the tag end off on this blood knot, leaving about 5 or 6 millimeters of tag. And that's obviously, as we mentioned, it's to give the line something to grip on in case it slips under tension, and then the knot's just not going to completely give way on us. It's going to have a second life to live and bed down even tighter. So that's that section done. At this point now, we can get our tail rubber and we can bring it down to the braid because we're going to need that shortly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the braid, and we're going to run that down the groove of the lead. Now you can go down the front or you can go down the back, it's entirely up to you. From this one, on this specific lead, I'm going down the back of the lead because it's a deeper groove. You can see there it beds in quite deep into the lead, which is ideal. And what we're going to do then is we're just going to get the tail rubber, and where the braid comes into contact with the top of the lead, the little bit of tube, just push that down nice and tight on there, leaving that section there. Yep, we'll have to move and tighten things up in a bit, but that's just to hold things in place while we do the rest of this. we're almost done, believe it or not. This is really a really quick system to set up. Now what we're going to do is, the reason we had a double-ended ring swivel rather than a quick chain swivel is we're going to put the loop onto the section where the braid is on. So don't put your rig onto this loop here on the ring swivel. You want to put it onto the same loop that the braid is tied onto. That is extremely important. You'll see why shortly. So this gets pretty fiddly, and this is why I said you might need a baiting needle just to push it through, but I'm going to try and do it without, to show that you don't always need it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pass that through there, the loop, and then we're going to pass the rig through that loop once we've gone through the hoop of the needle, and we're just going to pull everything down nice and tight. So then what you can see then is on the swivel itself, there is the rig looped on with the loop to loop, and the braided leaders also on that same one. And now you'll see why we're going to do that, because now we're going to get the end of the swivel, which is completely bare, nothing attached to it, and we're going to push that inside the bottom of the lead, just like so. And we're just going to push that in nice and tight. Then the leader, we can pull the leader up like that, and we can get it all nice and tight. Make sure that ring, the tail rubber sits on there nicely, and then there is your inline lead drop-off system. Why is it a drop-off system? Because if you do this, oh, he says, like that, and then obviously we're going to pull that, then if it gets tethered, it's going to drop off, and there goes the lead. So the principle of the system is that if it ever gets snagged, the idea is that the tail rubber will eject from the lead and the swivel will pop out of the lead. So we'll demonstrate it again. So you put your lead, your braid through. So there you go, you've got it all there. This can go, it can be cast out, it can be put in a solid bag, whichever you prefer to do. But like I say, the fish is going to pull, it's still going to get hooked like normal, the process will be the same, but it's going to pull the swivel out, and then at that point then, bang, leg comes out and it all just drops off, and you're just left with that. So when you bring in the fish in, all you'll have is that, and not your lead. Hope that all makes sense. If you've got any questions, feel free to just drop me a DM. I'm happy to respond, or comment on the post, and I'll respond straight away, as I have been doing quite frequently. I'm always here. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So yeah, if you're unsure, just get in contact. I'm happy to talk, and I'm happy to do whatever I can to help you understand if anything's going wrong or anything like that. We can obviously get through it. As before, if you're new to the channel, you know the biz, drop us a follow. Otherwise, give us a like, give us a comment, drop it into your favourites, repost, you know the biz. It all helps, and as we've seen, it's growing this channel exponentially. There you go, big word of the day, that one is for me. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.